of the presupposed bit, and that's the first part. Yeah, if P, and that's not our statement. That's their statement. If the Earth, well, we're saying if the Earth, but ballers are saying the Earth is a ball of 3959. That's a positive statement from them that we can work forward from logically. And that's when the black swan kicks in, because we don't have to accept 3959, but they preach it.
Right.
There is a further primary logical inference that's tucked away in that modus tollens, because it's just specifically detailing a horizon distance measurement. Now, although these words aren't wrapped up in QE's statement specifically, what is the horizon? Well, the horizon in the globe paradigm detailed with the radius value 3959, the horizon's Earth curve. So the further logical implication after the black swan has been demonstrated with the imagery is that the horizon is not Earth curve.
Cool. Sugar cookie.
Yeah.
There's further logical inference from that. If it's not Earth curve, then the only logical inference for Earth, a horizon as we see it, is that it's a creation of perspective and optical dissolution, or the point you can no longer resolve anything on a flat plane.
I understand.
And the last sentence was the most important.
I'm sorry.
With the logical influence refers to that all of that can apply perspective, the way we understand it, and every other function that we observe optically is on a flat plane. No other way to logically infer anything. If you want to put a positive statement about what the shape of the Earth is, the nature, and logically you can state that, because we understand perspective and how it works on flat planes, and when we observe stuff, it fits and matches perspective on a flat plane.
Sure, yeah, that's definitely above and beyond what the statement is, though, right?
Well, that's application of logic, yeah, but that's just modus tollens with regards to destroying the positive statement from ballers that we live on a ball of radius 3959.
Okay.
He is correct, though. It is working outside the parameters, Sugar, of the modus tollens, and that is explicitly stated by Quantum Eraser. It's a globe killer. However, it is not in any way unreasonable to take the next logical inference from that, which is that the Earth must be flat, based on what we know about perspective, which is what I'm just reiterating Adam's point that he said was the most important point. So yeah, it's not unreasonable to take that next logical inference, but you are correct. Within modus tollens, the black swan modus tollens, Earthosphere radius 3959, every horizon distant measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the Earth's height in feet, and the black swan shows beyond all certitude that it's beyond those geometric limitations. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959, and the horizon is not Earth curve. I hope that's the most concise summary of that argument to make it make a bit more sense in that regard. Hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. I'm just trying to... I have another question, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, go ahead. If you've got another question, feel free.
Go ahead. You got a question concerning Black Swan, Sextant, and Allison Bob, my favorite. Go ahead with the Sextant.
Yeah. Okay, so I think so the Sextant. So I don't know how to compare the two from going from Black Swan to the year of the Sextant from 10th Man. What is there a logical statement in the Sextant argument, or is it a scientific one? I'm just trying to figure out how to wrap my mind around that.
It's a geometric one.
It's a measurement.
Yeah, it's a geometric
you
assertion.
Can't use it.
Hold on a second. Let Nathan go ahead and take this one.
Well, it's. I'm going to lean on Brian's point in this regard. Once you've made a dip correction, you're making a purely geometric assertion, and the tool deals with straight lines. Okay? Well, what's the rebuttal to the black swan? We don't have a geometric horizon. Why would you expect to see physical geometry? The horizon's not the geometric horizon, etc., etc. It's refracted.
Right.
Well, all of those things fly in the face of how the sextant works and operates. It's taking a geometric measurement of a straight line, something they don't have on a sphere anymore, because their response to the black swan is what? Well, it's a bent line. It's refracted. We don't have any straight lines. We've got atmosphere. We wouldn't expect to see the geometric horizon. Well, it's a geometric tool. End of their discussion, because what are they going to say? Oh, yeah, we get a straight line by just looking at the horizon and knowing it's flat. That was the last response we got. And we all laughed because, well, no, you've just told us for 21 straight months that it's refracted. Unfortunately for you, you don't have a straight line, precisely what the sextant uses.
So does that, I think the problem that I run into is with the sextant question is spherical geometry. And where it goes to, it goes back to geometry where you can't have angles without straight lines. And that goes back in, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of a weird play on words, but it's a circular, to me, it kind of goes in a circular argument anyway, back to, well, I don't know where the dip correction comes from. I don't know how you factor in refraction on the sextant thing, and then all of the math that goes along with finding that GP with above or below the equator based on where you are on the prime meridian and the latitude you're at. So I think for me, it's kind of hard to figure out. That's why I don't know if there's a modus tollens set for the sextant like there is for the black swan.
I'll give you a modus tollens at dip horizon. If dip horizon,
I don't know. I'm sorry. That's another question I had was I don't know what dip correction is. That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, let me try and field this before Adam does then. So Adam, you go next. So the dip correction when you're talking about a sextant is merely a height correction. So because you're going to be measuring pure geometry, and the line that you're going to be measuring is the line along the ground to where the star is above the ground. So you've got a straight line from you to that position below the star. Yeah, that is what you're going to be utilizing. And that is a purely geometric measurement. Yeah. Now, in order for that to make sense, the angle must be from the flat ground and not somewhere in midair. So therefore, you correct for how high you are above the deck. So if you're up the top of a mast with your sextant for whatever reason, then you've got to correct for that and say, well, I'll adjust this measurement so that my angle isn't off because it should be taken from the ground. So there's a correction to put the measurement back on the ground to make it geometric again, so that you are no longer dealing with optics, you're only dealing with the geometry. So that's what the dip correction with a sextant is utilizing, just a correction for height. However, we'll let you go in a minute, Adam, I promise. On a globe, you've got a dip measurement that's made by Al-Biruni when you take a 90 degree to your position. So in other words, a zenith is a straight line down through your head through the ground. Well, you can get a straight line from that. 90 degrees to that position where you stand at your zenith would give you 90 degrees. Now, if you're up a mountain, like Al-Biruni was, and you're looking at the horizon, you can infer that whatever the horizon is below that 90 degree line that you've drawn at your zenith, that's the dip that you're going to be measuring. So what globe or anti-flat earthers do is they convolute the two. So for a sextant, it's merely a height adjustment. For Al-Biruni measuring R, it's a measurement from a 90 degree, measured from your zenith, to the horizon measured as a dip, to then later derive R from. So they're two different things that get convoluted between what's actually happening when you use a sextant when you're dealing with an anti-flat earther. Again, I hope that helps. Adam, go ahead, because there's more to come. Sorry, it's a good question. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, spot on. From a maths point of view, when you look at this, there's, and again, it's you take the dip angle because, and the most important function of the dip angle, in fact, the function it asks you to measure is your height above the water, and that's the mathematical function you're taking in place now. Sugar, isn't it? Sugar cookie.
Yeah.
If I was to stand at the same point on the same day in exactly the same place, but different atmospherics, and I was to align my sextant to the horizon, and it's a cloudy day, and I use the horizon, will it align my sextant plumb and true?
Sorry, it sounds like you're cutting out.
It was a question, sorry. On a cloudy day, if I use my sextant and I've got a reduced horizon, will that horizon still be level and true and plumb square to where I am? Can I use the sextant on that day?
I mean, does that matter?
Yeah, you can. It does. It works. And if it's a clear day, and I can actually, from my perspective, see further, and I align to the horizon there with my sextant, will that be plumb and true?
You're still looking at the horizon either way, right?
Or suddenly I can see a lot further. So the point I'm aligning to create plumb and true is a different image, we say, but it still aligns plumb and true. It still creates a zenith between me and the horizon, and this in the sextant it creates a 90 degrees to the plane. Yeah.
Sure.
So the point of the horizon then isn't a physical location we're aligning with to create plumb and true.
Right.
It's something that is actually generated through something that's God given, which is your eyeball. Yeah, because the optical limit of the eyeball is standard. Whatever the atmospheric conditions, the eye is going to see as far as it can see, but it's still going to align and create that horizon true based on the optics of the eyeball and the lens that you're looking through in the case of the sextant.